Night fell heavy over the land of Israel as the Philistine army gathered, vast and threatening, their campfires glowing like stars of judgment across the valley. King Saul stood alone, staring into the darkness. Once chosen by God, once anointed with oil and promise, Saul now felt something far worse than fear, silence. He had cried out to the Lord, but there was no answer, no dreams, no prophets, no voice. Samuel was dead, the prophet who had guided and corrected him, and Saul knew the truth deep in his soul. God had turned away from him. In desperation, Saul did the unthinkable. Long ago, he himself had driven out mediums and spirit callers from Israel, obeying God's law that forbade such practices. But now, with the enemy closing in and his courage shattered, Saul whispered to his servants to find him a woman who could call up the dead. They hesitated, then spoke a name spoken only in fear, the Witch of Endor. Disguised in the clothes of a common man, Saul slipped into the night, crossing dangerous territory under cover of darkness. The king of Israel traveled not to a prophet, but to a forbidden spirit caller. When he reached the woman, she was cautious and afraid. She knew the law and the punishment. But Saul swore an oath, ironically in the name of the Lord, that no harm would come to her. Then he made his request, "Bring up Samuel for me." As the woman began her ritual, something went wrong. She suddenly cried out in terror. This was no ordinary spirit. She saw something real, something powerful. She spoke of a spirit coming up out of the earth. An old man wrapped in a robe. Saul knew immediately. It was Samuel. The prophet spoke, not with comfort, but with judgment. He asked why he had been disturbed and brought up. Saul fell to the ground, trembling, and poured out his fear of the Philistines, of the silence of God, of the future he could not escape. Samuel's words were devastating. The Lord had turned away from Saul and become his enemy. Because Saul had not obeyed God, the kingdom had been torn from him and given to David. Then came the final blow. Tomorrow, Saul and his sons would be with him. The words crushed the king. Strength left his body, and he collapsed, stretched out on the floor, empty and broken. The woman, shaken herself, urged him to eat, but Saul barely listened. The prophecy echoed louder than the enemy's drums. That night, Saul returned to his camp not with hope or strategy, but with doom sealed over his crown. The next day, the prophecy came true. Israel fell in battle. Saul's sons were killed, and Saul, wounded and defeated, died on Mount Gilboa. The story of the Witch of Endor is not just about a forbidden spirit, but a warning carved into history, a reminder that disobedience leads to distance from God, and that seeking answers outside of him only deepens the darkness. Saul had once been chosen, but in the end he was lost. Not because God was silent, but because Saul had stopped listening long before the silence came. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and comment. Don't forget to subscribe for more Bible stories.